Wow. I'm actually talking to an NBA All-Star. Actually, an NBA All-Star. That's incredible.
A long time ago.
Let's get on with it.
All right.
What was it like growing up in Kentucky?
Well, my family was very close. My parents were very hardworking. My sisters, I have two younger sisters, and a lot of it was, our life was around basketball. My father was a coach at the University of Louisville, and during that time, the University of Louisville had a really good program. They still do, but I got to go to Final Fours. I got to watch my dad coach some of the best players in the world, and I got to see my mother, really work extremely hard. She was a financial aid director at the University of Louisville. And I just saw them working really hard. They were both teachers. So they really stressed having a good education. And that's what our life was like. It was built around kind of sports and education and faith. And we were a tight family. A lot of times in the summer when I was going to basketball camps, part of the trip would be a family trip. So my father and my parents really made sure that we stayed close to our family values.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Are you a Christian?
Yes. Yeah. Who would you say inspired you the most?
I'll say my parents first, just by now that I'm a father of 7 and a husband, I see how much it took and it takes to be a parent. And some of the players that my father coached, when I was coming up and watching the game of basketball, that was what inspired me. I saw they set a standard for me. They set the bar high for me to not just be a professional athlete, but I saw how hard they worked at it. And I saw, when you see greatness up close, it inspires you. And that's what I saw. So I say my parents, I saw the players that he coached, and then Muhammad Ali he grew up right down the street from my mother, and seeing pictures of like me and him, when I didn't remember it much, but when I was a baby and when I was younger, he would come visit our house. And so our families felt very connected, and my mother's family was connected. So whenever he would fight my father, I could just see how excited he was to watch kind of a friend. And this was just so happened to be the most famous athlete in the world and the best. So that inspired me too.
Yeah. So how does it feel to raise 7 children?
It's like Christmas every day. Every day I go home, nothing else matters because you see the joy. I'm just blessed that I'm healthy enough and can have the flexibility and the time to be with them, to have a relationship with them, because I see how much influence I have as their father, how my actions and words really matter. But they're fun. I learn more from them than I think they learn from me. Just learning how to help them be the best they can be. Because I think as a father and as a leader in general, you have to find that fine line between helping someone do something and get to the place that they don't want to go to because it's uncomfortable. And but like I said, it's unconditional love. That's what I take from it. And there are times when we butt heads and we disagree, and things that I want that they don't, but that's part of it.
Okay, can you share an experience from your childhood related to basketball that was very important to you?
From my childhood, probably again being around my father at a young age. You know, I used to pretend like I had my own uniform when I was 5 or 6 years old. I used to pretend like I had a real uniform. I actually snuck into his stuff and stole one of his uniforms and put it in this little bag, so I could have my like game bag and go to games. And so it was just, it inspired me. But you know, we'd go on trips over the holidays with the team, and my grandmother, who's not living anymore, we were roommates on one of those trips in one of the Christmas tournaments. And every day we would go down to this little marketplace and have pancakes. You know, for some reason that really sticks out in my mind. It's like that was a very unique trip and time with my grandmother, but it was still all in keeping with the basketball life and the experience and family.
Do you have a creative outlet that you enjoy, such as drawing, writing, or playing an instrument?
Yeah, believe it or not, I like making little videos, like editing and producing little videos. I got a lot of family videos that I've made of me and my kids and just stuff that I do. So yeah, I think one day I might just try to have a production company or something, because I really like the process and I like involving the kids. Two of my daughters, their names are Jade and Jody. They're 7 and 9, and we have this little thing called the Jade and Jody Show. So we just play around like that and edit it and try to make it fun. But you know, I think that's probably my hidden hobby.
Okay. Who is your favorite music artist, group, or genre?
Well, I would say kind of the old school hip hop. Now it's old school. You know, when I was in college, you know, Tribe Called Quest, and even back when I was in your age, Run DMC. Then I got to college, then like Outkast and Goody Mob, because I went to the University of Tennessee. So, you know, being from Louisville and listening to East Coast hip hop, and then going to the South, a little bit more, further south when I was in college, listening to, you know, kind of more the Southern hip hop. And then when I got to New York, I met a West Coast hip hop group that happened to be involved in gangs, but then the Lord saved them. And then they started doing like gospel hip hop. And so that's probably my favorite genre right now, is kind of inspirational hip hop. You know, and so I kind of go in between a lot of that.
How does it feel to be the man of faith that you are now?
Well, I mean, it's all because of recognizing what I've been given. You know, faith can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You know, you can get up in the morning and just know that you're gonna get to work or get to school. If you got a game, you just know that you're gonna get there and get back home. That's faith. Just knowing that, you know, you're gonna be healthy. But I think there's a deeper level of faith is who you place your faith and trust in. And, you know, when I was 14 or 15 years old, I felt like God was saying, I want a personal relationship with you. I want a fellowship with you. And that just overwhelmed me. It was one of those things where I was like, wow, like the creator of everything is saying, I want you and me to be like this, to be tight. And when you have that sense of peace in your mind every day, and you know that God is real and that God is directing your path, and and you can speak and hear from him directly, then everything else really just goes from there. And your life, decisions, the perspective, the way you see things, the way you interact with people, it just changes that. And so I've been fortunate to go throughout my career and have that foundation. because my wife and I were just talking like, what would life be like if I don't even know what my life would be like if I didn't have that.
Do you have any dark times that hurt your life, like any dark times?
Well, yeah, I think everybody, that's what life is. You can have faith, but faith is something that kind of gets you through. It's not something that removes pain or any dark times in your life. It's the light that helps you navigate through those dark times. I mean, when I was a junior in high school, I was taking medicine because I was growing fast, and I was taking this medicine, and literally it ate a hole in my stomach. And I was going through the conditioning program, and the last day I just passed out. Don't even remember anything else. Next thing you know, I had to receive a pint of blood. And that was kind of something that physically, I had a lot of pain. I had headaches, but I didn't realize how serious it was because you're just going through it. But I still see my uncle, who gave me, a pint of blood, and just reminds me of life, and how precious life is. I think another time it was tough was when I had to retire here, and you want to see things work out a certain way, and a lot of people were disappointed. I was disappointed, but I had to place my value in something different than a contract or a career. I had to place my value in where God has me and what He's doing, and not worry about the boos and the criticism of what you're going through. Because a lot of times when you're going through that pain, nobody knows and nobody really cares. You just got to go through it and fight through it and have a good support system. And again, that's where my faith really helped, because it was a stabilizer.
What made you decide to do what you do when you retire as a basketball player?
Well, when I realized that I couldn't really play anymore, took some time to do some things with the NBA. I traveled, as an ambassador, and I did some things in kind of analyzed the game with some television work. And then I tried to come back again. I felt, like I could do it again. And then Donnie Walsh, who was the president of the Knicks, sat me in his office and he said, "I think you would be good on the management side. So I want you to think about it." And he kind of helped me grow. And then he kind of promoted me to help with the scouting, help with the D-League. So I'm grateful for that. There's a lot of mentors, and I'm sure you could probably have, some people that have helped you and guided you along the way, and mentors who could help give you confidence and give you some guidance. And that's what it's about too. And so it really, I didn't choose it. It kind of chose me.
What was your biggest challenge in life?
I think the biggest challenge probably was transitioning from amateur to professional. In college, playing basketball, living a life where you're on campus, I have my family close, and then you go off on your own, and no matter what foundation you have, you're ready. You have to be responsible for everything and make good decisions. You have to learn how to navigate who you're around. You have to be a professional. You have to be on time. And you're in a intense environment, business. You're trying to learn. You're trying to not put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're trying to have fun. But you realize this is a real deal. It's not a game anymore. And you're getting paid to do a job. And just making those decisions. Then I got married. Came to New York. So it was a lot of those things that I had to just go through and do the best you can. But again, having people around you to kind of help you, talk to you, give you good advice and wisdom. And the key is being able to listen and be receptive as well. You know, you never should. To me, when you talk a lot and you think you know it, that's when you get in trouble. So I was always one to try to watch and listen as much as possible. But that was probably the most challenging part, is that transition, is because it's so new and you just haven't been there before and the stakes are high. And so, but you still got to enjoy it, have fun. And if you're working as hard as you can and you listen, then anything you do, you know, you'll be all right.
What kind of relationship do you have with your teammates before you retire from the Knicks?
I thought it was decent. You know, I think one of the things that if I look back in my career, I wish I would have been a little bit better at is really spending a lot more time getting to know them and talk to them. I was the type that I tried to lead by example and, you know, do the right thing. But sometimes, you know, you're brothers. I was close with a couple of guys on my team. But, you know, I admire players and guys who really invest that time in each other, getting to know them. Because when you're out there in that court, it's war. And you're going to war with someone you want to be able to know and trust. And but I thought our relationship was good. You know, I had some good friends, good teammates, guys that you hang out on the road with and spend time with their families. Because that's for 8 months. You're with that group, you know, every day almost, you know. So it's good to form that good connection with them.
So can you tell us about Fizzle?
Yeah, well, Fizzle came from my father, and I really felt led to share our experience. When I played for him, I learned so much about, not just about the basketball fundamentals, but just fundamentals of life. Things that when you're going through those tough times that get you through, things that help you have a winning mindset. Because that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to build a mindset of victory, you know, so you can feel like you just can't be defeated in anything you do. And so when I thought about that, my father and I just sat and talked and said, what are those fundamentals that live everywhere, not just on the basketball court? So we talked about faith, which we kind of talked about. Then integrity. Integrity is, you know, is the thing that when I think about my father, he was always, you know, mindful of saying the right thing, doing the right thing. And then when you're playing in sports and you're a coach's son, you understand like there's a right way to play the game. Sacrifice is, to me, it's just a basic human nature for us to think about ourselves rather than somebody else, or what's good for everybody else rather than ourselves. So I feel like, again, being a Christian, one of the things that you find is that because God, through Jesus, thought about us first instead of everything else, that's what we need to do, is think about how can we think about making the next person better, our community better, or our wife or whoever. So that's the S. And the 2 L's are for leadership and legacy. I think once you think about faith, integrity, and sacrifice, those fundamentals kind of set the stage for leadership, because that's what leadership is bringing people together for a common goal and keeping the inspiration up, you know, to do that. And then legacy is, you know, what impact do you want to have, you know, and it can be in an instant, you know. You know, you've already impacted me just hearing your story, you know, so I won't forget that. So you can have an impact on all the way around. So we wanted to just kind of share that message, and not only share the message, but we wanted to help people live it out, practice it, so it kind of just becomes second nature. And so we started doing these events and programs, and so now it's become something that we talk about all the time, and we want to just keep spreading that message.
Mm-hmm. What do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment in life?
I don't think I would say I would have a greatest accomplishment, because it's really not me accomplishing it. The way I see it, I feel like God has given me some things that He's done through me, but I don't feel like I've really done it.
What do you like better, being a professional athlete or a family person?
Well, I think being a professional athlete is kind of an instant gratification. You know, you hit a shot and everybody cheers, or you do something, everybody boos, and that's for that moment. But being a family is forever. You know, that doesn't end. You know, my kids will have children, they'll have children, and it'll just keep going on. So that's the legacies you want to. That's why Fizzle, you want those fundamentals of life, faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, and legacy. You want those to live beyond you in your children and people that you impact. You know, family is maybe not just be your blood. You know, family is people that are just unconditionally there in your life, there for you, can challenge you. So that's more important, I think, than the game. Although the game has allowed me to have a voice, you know, and have influence, but I prefer both.
So, if you had a chance to meet someone from any time era, who would it be? What will you discuss and why this person?
Well, I think probably Jesus would be the first person, even though, like, in an indirect way, we still do have a relationship. But just seeing, I would love to just see how he just was able to walk and invest in so many people other than himself at the same time, you know, and pour into so many people, and like without sleep, without, you know, like what does that really look like? And Dr. King would be another person, Dr. Martin Luther King, and just because of when you see and you read his writings and you know that everything that was coming to him was divinely inspired, and he just was able to communicate something that a movement that everybody felt connected to and rallied around, and how he was able to just do that. Because you know there are moments where you feel like, man, this is too much, you know, and how can I keep doing this, and I don't have the energy. But that's what I want to see. When those moments hit, like, how did they deal with that?
What are your thoughts about education?
Well, like I said, my parents were teachers. Education has been part of our core, my family and my wife's family. It's something that it's like that's something we don't compromise. It's just something that it provides you a platform for whatever you want to do, because it allows you to think. It's not just about reading and writing skills, right? Those are extremely important, but it's about how to think, how to make decisions, how to, you know, interact with people. We live in a world where, you know, you're communicating with people, or you're servicing people, and that's what you're going to do, right? And somehow when you're working in your career, you're going to be communicating with somebody through email, through writing, talking. You're going to have to think through, problem solve. You're serving someone. Somebody's got to pay you for something, and that's usually a service somehow. So education gives you a foundation for whatever you want to do, and then it expands your imagination or vision for what you want to do even further. So that's why it's so important, and why something will always be important.
How do you feel about Kids Express and the work they do?
Well, I mean, I think it's amazing. Just sitting here talking to you, having this conversation. I mean, to me, what you're doing is something I think every student should experience. I mean, this is powerful because now, not only do you have skills to have a conversation on camera, which is not easy for everybody, right? But you have a voice, right? And God has given you a voice, and now you kind of learn how to be responsible with that voice, whether it's through the pen, whether it's through, you know, an auditory exercise or experience. I think it's amazing because it's allowing you to challenge your imagination and just grow, get better.
Can you share something that will help us understand who you are?
I don't know. I mean, we kind of covered a lot. You know, I think I just want to be used the right way. You know, I just want to have an impact, and that's really it. I mean, we talked about Fizzle. We talked about those fundamentals of who I want to be and who I want people around me to see. You know, I don't want them to see me, you know, so much as who made me me. And so that's really what it comes down to.
Well, that's it.
All right. Good job, man. I enjoyed that, man. That was good. He's great. He's great. Yeah. So can I ask him a question?
Absolutely. Okay, any question.
So I would, you know, as we talk about Fizzle, I kind of would like to say where would you say Fizzle is in you? You think about those five, the faith, or which one of those is kind of like the most important to you? Faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, legacy. Which one of those sticks out in your head?
Well, I think it's faith.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely faith, because well, when I was playing, when I was a child, when I was a kid, like a very, very young kid, my family has been, you know, I've been in foster care once. Like, my whole family has been split out. I live with my brothers, so all me and my brothers has faith in each other. So that's all we got, like, for the whole long time, without our sisters. They're living somewhere else. So every night when they're, like, you know, when they go to bed, I check up on them. Like I don't know. I want to know if they're okay.
They're younger.
Yeah, I'm like the oldest of the other four.
All right.
I have two brothers and two younger sisters. So
So you smile when you talk about your sisters.
yeah, I love they also have faith in me because I've been looking after them. I'm not really a leader, so I try my best and have faith in God to show me how to lead them.
I think you are a leader. If you ask me, what I see all the Fizzle in you.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I appreciate you, man. Mm-hmm. Good job. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Can
Some big hands too. Yeah. Can you palm them? You palm the ball? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, huh. You lost your thing?
Yeah, may you sign it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I need to be the one that's getting the autograph.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so
Man, keep letting that light shine, man. Mm-hmm. It's a lot brighter than you think. You know what I mean? It is, man.